got the nasty flow.
I'm working most nights, so most mornings I wake up, check the transaction feed, try to kind of see what's going on, check the log, make sure no one's adding, dropping when they should, no trades behind my back. Kind of basically, my best friend, since we're in the off season, it's not really going to show us too much. You slip on over here to the transaction log, tran counter, kind of monitor who's doing what, who's active, who's not. Kind of guys that you got to watch out for dipping into the transaction log. You find that right there, a list right there, kind of a little breakdown of everything. So that's kind of a starting point. And after that, sorry about that. We do have one resident here who's never watched Anthony.
I am the current leader of the underground.
The underground, it's not a thing anymore, is what I'm trying to make people understand. It's not relevant. It's not something that exists.
Yes, I am in the underground.
The underground is dead.
There's really no true association with the underground. It's just a place for people to come who want to better their team. That's all it is. We're just out here trying to win a ship. And whatever it takes to win that ship, by all means necessary. Malcolm X, baby.
This is part of our past, and while it's worth remembering, this is not something that's ongoing.
No one talks who's in the underground. You're in it, but you don't know who else is in it. You're just a part of it. It's a really weird, conspiratized scandal that I can't really explain.
The best way for me to describe the underground, they're peasants. They're the underclass of the DBODB. The underground thinks that they run things. They don't run anything. I control the underground. I manipulate the underground as I want. Brad, me, we get what we want from the underground when we want it. If we want information, we get the information. If we want to figure stuff out, we figure it out. They are just like an uneducated group of peasants.
Yeah, there's some people in the underground that you guys probably don't even know about, Brad.
To be honest with you, the underground, it comes and it goes. There'll be times where the underground is full functioning, and there'll be times where the underground's quiet. But that's the beauty of the underground, is that it's always there for you whenever anyone wants to hide. Got some secrets? Come to the underground. We're there for you.
Am I part of the underground? No. With Dustin and Markey, that's a disgrace. That shouldn't even be called the underground. They think they're part of this special thing, but it's nothing. And it builds up their ego. I don't know. I don't understand it. But it's just Markey and Dustin's thing. They like to call themselves underground. But guys like them, they don't understand.
You want to come to the underground? That's your choice. I'll be there. I'll be waiting. I don't mind. Sounds fun.
You know what? The recruitment is always happening, boys. You never know who's in the underground.
The first year in the league, I came in last place, setting the record for worst possible record ever. So it was at this point, in my lowest point in my life, that I seeked help from the underground. But the underground didn't walk me. So it was at this point that I made my own game. The Los Assassinos de Tortugas. We throw up the handshake when we see each other. And we throw up the gang sign for other fellow members.
How many people are in the gang?
Excuse me?
How many people are in the gang?
Oh, no one. Absolutely nobody in the group. It's just me.
I mean, what can we do but just laugh at those people? I mean, what can we do but laugh at Markey, Nolan, and Dustin, and just the thought that what they have created or whatever they think that they have done is even relevant anymore?
Brad, with the underground, is like a love-hate relationship. He thinks that he knows everything, but he actually doesn't. He just has no clue what's going on. So he thinks he does. He thinks that he's caught everything that has happened, but he hasn't. But that's besides the fact, because you'll never find that out.
He doesn't really understand the ways of the underground and how anybody is welcome. People that he thinks isn't in the underground, they could just come, stop by, and leave. We don't have a problem with that. It's like a little vacation.
Everything that I've tried to do in this league is I try to be the fairest, most trustworthy person in this league.
People are just naturally going to come to the underground, and they're just going to want to do whatever they can in order to win themselves a ship. And Brad doesn't understand that. That's where he hurts himself. And that's where the underground attacks. Weakness equals suffering.
B-Rad, yeah, he's a great commissioner. Sometimes I'll admit he might take it a little far, but if Brad wasn't in commissioner, wasn't in that spot, this league would be chaos. And so I really appreciate the work that Brad puts in. You know, the dedication takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, but there's no other person I'd rather have at the commissioner spot than Brad Frailey.
You know, I take my my commissioner duties pretty seriously. Just in the fact, I mean, I know there's some behind the scenes stuff where you you set up the date for opening and closing ceremonies, you set up the draft order, you set up the draft date, you collect the money. Obviously, there's some very important, almost secretary-like work where you're kind of just organizing stuff. But there's also a deeper level of work, you know, kind of just a constant just struggle of trying to not get comfortable. I know the underground hasn't been around for a while, but constantly monitoring the wire, constantly keeping up with my sources, and I have my sources. Constantly, you know, combing through every piece of information that's available to me to basically make sure that this isn't going on anymore. And you know what? I'm proud and happy to report, last 3 years, 4 years, nothing. Not a squeak. And you know what? I don't know if that can be attributed to Marky and Dustin maybe growing up, finally being able to mature and become adults. But basically, right now it's kind of just maintenance, but I'm watching.
David being our co-commissioner is probably one of the dumbest things I've ever seen, or heard, or saw.
The only reason the DBODB exists is because me and Brad started this league. This is why we're here. I birthed it. I birthed the freaking DBODB. People forget it. Get no respect around here.
The co-commissioner's a cheater. Brad, love you to death, but you're David's puppet. The leash is so damn short, you can't even get off his hip.
David went from the dark side to the good side. Even though he cheated in 2010 when I paid him $20, and now he's our co-commissioner. He's kind of like that guy in the Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. Brad's the king, and David's that little evil guy that's just chirping in his ear, feeding him all his bull all the time. That's kind of what happens. Brad just is easily influenced.
You know, I don't like to name names. You know, Dustin Frailey, Mark Lindsay, David Trotwine, Nolan Sheridan. We're all grouped in the same thing, and that's cheating.
Marky basically paid David to sit a player.
Yeah, I cheated. And I bought this painting with the money, baby.
Dustin and Marky, you know, they tried to basically loan players, loan a defense. Dustin would drop a defense, Marky would be on at the same time, pick up that defense, use that defense that week, drop that defense again, give him back to Dustin. Diego decided to talk Dreas into sending him 3 players for literally nobody. Kyle threatened to beat up Dreas for Santana Moss.
I threatened to beat up Dreas for Santana Moss, but, you know, back then, I think that was illegal.
Cheating scandal or wrongly accused scandal, Ryan? Can you please be more specific?
So actually this was, I think it was 2011, me and Nolan had this debacle, the big scandal, the big DBODB scandal that supposedly got found out 2 years later, which is ridiculous. But pretty much I was desperate for a win, or for some playoffs, and Nolan was out. I called him up, bribed him a little bit, you know, doing what I do.
But he texts me and he says, "What's it going to take to get McFadden?" What's it going to take to get McFadden? I asked myself.
Told him I paid him $15 for Darren McFadden.
Now $15. No, it cost $25 to get in the league. So here's what I say. Now Mark's team was stacked that year, all right? I say I'll give him Darren McFadden for $15. He owes me 10 if he wins it. Deal, right? Deal.
Everyone knows what the trade was. The trade was pretty bad.
Marky trades freaking Randy Moss for Darren McFadden. Just a joke.
We all know who won that championship.
Brad tried to do his whole mind manipulation thing, didn't work, but he tried to, you know, tell Marky I cheated, tell me that Marky cheated, didn't work.
I call him up and I say, you know, I'm bluffing. Nolan, we caught you, dude. I know that you accepted money and you cheated in the Marky trade. And he said, who told you? I said, you told me, Nolan. You just told me right now.
You know, I just started taking a lot of heat from the league, you know, about how, oh, you suck, you this and that. when I'm sitting here laughing, playing in this league for free, basically.
Marky just denied it. I mean, what are you going to do? You're caught red-handed. He's obviously made it this far. Told him I'm going to strip him of his championship. He's freaking out. I didn't know if we were going to be friends again, honestly. But, you know, the league over, you know, a friendship any day. So I'm taking care of business, and finally Marky comes around, agrees to pay. I think we only made him pay $40. If there's any mistake I made in this whole thing, it wasn't making him return $250. He made that into a speaker system for his freaking car. So, I mean, that's a joke. That's the whole joke here.
You know, I felt really bad for Kyle. By the way, Kyle, I feel bad that you had to go through that, but actually I don't feel bad. I'm sorry that it just happened to you because, you know, when I made the decision, I made it, so, you know, I'll own it, but, you know, it sucks that had to happen, but.
One day when Dustin, a supposed member of the Underground, started blabbing about that there was something big that I didn't know. There was something big that me and David didn't know. And of course I'm writing this off because I didn't think anything could get by on my watch. But he agrees to actually show David, as long as David promises not to tell me exactly what the cheating scandal was. And I didn't believe him, but I was like, David, go ahead. And Dave comes back in the room, face is white, it's big. And I'm like, oh crap, I'm freaking out.
Man, I remember that day like it was yesterday. We were at El Capitan, we were camping, having a good time, you know, weather was good, the waves were good. Everyone was swimming in the pool, and, you know, I was doing my own thing, and I walk up a little later, and, you know, they're all having a good time sitting in the spa, and I walk up, and Brad looks me in the face and is like, Kyle, we got something to tell you. And, like, the way he said it, my heart dropped, and I was like, man, I knew this can't be good. Like, what's going on? Are you okay, Brad? And he told me, like, Kyle, we just found out something pretty scary. And he's like, Marky cheated. You were robbed from the championship. And just my mind felt like my world came crashing down.
I think the Underground started because of a fear of failure and just an inability to cope with losing. I mean, I think about with myself, I put in several years of just garbage and losing and getting my face pounded. 4 or 9 seasons, and it was miserable. But at the end of the day, I would rather go through those losing seasons than to cheat and know that, you know, I can sleep well at night knowing that I did my best. I mean, it didn't turn out well, but I'm playing fair on a level playing field. Dustin, Marky, Nolan, those guys, low moral compass, barely even care about other people and the other people in this league and fairness. And, you know, to be honest with you, I don't know exactly what had happened, but Marky robbed someone of a championship trophy. And you know what? I think he's okay with that, and that makes me sick.
If me and Brad go down, if we die in a tragic car accident, where will the DBODB go? I just know it won't be good. I'm scared for our children. What kind of fantasy league they'll grow up in, to be honest, if there's no one here to hold the values that we put in place. I'm scared, real scared.
HWPO, hard work pays off. These guys, yeah, Marky won the championship. Yeah, he had the glory, but for how long? He got caught, and it's wiped away from the memory books. So the guys like me, Brad, people who have done it right, we'll enjoy this victory and the championship forever.
Cheating is for the weak. It takes a strong man to be able to look at that box score in the eyes and say, I lost, but I lost like a man. Marky, Dustin, Nolan, they run. They run scared because they can't deal with it. Be a man. Face your deficits and deal with it. Mother budger.
And he... Hold on, I need some water.
Sounds fun.
I'm trying to add the element.
Dude, you're doing great. Stay there, make this still home. Oh yeah, that's golden, dude.
Good? Yeah, I'm good.
Well, I mean, you know what? It is. It's. I mean, if you think about it, blah 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 blah, and that's what it's all about. Fun. I gotta start over. I'm already starting to laugh. Can I start off with a different question?
Yeah. Part of the Underground?
Those transactions, happen instantaneously. And
Dude, Kyle tried to beat up someone for saying that. You gotta talk about all of it, man.
yeah,
Tell you briefly.
yeah. And then, of course,
Now, how now, brown cow? How now, brown cow?
But the DBODB, the DBODB, the DBODB, the DBODB is always developing.
Everything they do is part of my plan. They're puppets, and I pull the strings, and they dance for me. They dance for me. Oh, they dance for me.
Dre still tried to pick him up and I had to remove him from his roster, but you know, Dre's is gonna be Dre's.
The commish beat Frey. He's always on top of it. Shoot, I don't remember what I was talking about.
You're talking about beating up Dre.
For the